Someone parking badly. Cheap spring water with lemon juice in it. You know, like the Jif lemon stuff. I know it's not real lemons. It's made from concentrate. And so it's been sitting in a vat. And then to make it taste like lemons again, they put lemon oil in it. So it's about as far removed from a lemon as you can be while still having lemon as the main ingredient. One of the suggestions I had recently was to have about Mevy. You know, because I've done it before, back in episode 17. No, people can go back. But I usually suggest people do that if need be. But I noticed that this is episode 67 and episode 17 was my first personal vlog type video 50 episodes ago. And by a strange coincidence, I'm even wearing the same t-shirt. So I'm going to do it anyway. But a question I get asked a lot, and it's buried right in the end of that video, is where my name comes from. Mevi. M-E-V-I. It's the name of the channel. It's my name. It's not my birth name. It's not the name given to me by my parents. It is a name that I've acquired from spraying on walls. I used to be a graffiti artist going back to the 80s. Not a successful one, not a good one. I was enthusiastic, and it was part of my misspent teenage years. One time we had a conversation, the cops came and talked to us, and they were quite okay with it. It was an old derelict building that we used to paint on. We called it The Hut. It kept us out of trouble, I think. We'd sort of hang around down there. It was harmless, really. It's a housing estate now. He used to go by the name Event, Mr. Quiz. He used to call me the Main Event, M-E-V, and then it was Mevi with an E. So I then changed the E to an I to have the same pronunciation, but a spelling that people could recognise as Mevi. And that's it. That was about 1990, 91. So it's a long time. I've been going by the name Mevi. Not everyone knows me as Mevi. I've got friends who have no idea about that. I've got friends that have no idea about YouTube. I've got friends that have no idea about the music. You're friends with people for different reasons, and you fulfill a role as a friend that is very different from how you might be a friend for other people. And I'm still me. People don't get a different Mevi experience. But, you know, I forget quite how long it is, but it's got to be maybe about 6 years ago. I quit music, and I did it in a really stupid ass way. I just cut everyone out. And then that was, again, episode 17. I was in a relationship that was really dysfunctional. Okay, one sec. There we go, a bit more light. Because I rejected music in such a drastic way, I also didn't tell a soul from that point on. Every friend that I've made in the last 6 years, except for ones through YouTube and ones that I've met maybe more recently, they don't know anything about the music, know nothing. They might have figured it out now if they've been watching the channel, but no, I just didn't tell anyone. So there's a whole big chunk of my life that people don't know about. I tell them everything else, and I just don't even mention the music. So yeah, I made hip hop as well with Mr. Quiz and Bustamino and Filthy Franco and AG, and Matt did our graphics. Oh God, I can't remember the name of our manager. That's shocking. If he should see this, he'll be really disappointed. He tried to get us in at Sony. Again, they just wanted us to do remixes, and so that never came to anything. My dad had dementia. My dad was old. He was 92. He was very poorly. So I moved in with him. I didn't tell people that I'd moved in with him. Some people did know. Family members just thought that I was visiting him more often. I didn't let anyone know that I actually had separated from my partner and I'd moved in with Dad. So I was caring for him in secret. Over the months, we did arrange for some care to be provided during the day, because I was working full time, so I couldn't care for him all the time, and his health was deteriorating such that he needed care. So we arranged for 3 care visits during the day and the evening. So 1 in the morning, 1 in lunchtime, 1 in the evening, to prompt him to take his tablets and to eat. And then officially I moved in later, because he did really need someone there, and I was already there and looking after him, but I then announced that I was going to move in with him, but I'd actually been living there a little while. He became very ill. He had to go into hospital with what they thought was an infection, but he developed pneumonia. And yeah, a month before his 93rd birthday, and he died. But we were there with him, and it was really unpleasant. But that's the way it is, isn't it? I'm okay with it. I still miss my dad. I miss my mum as well. My mum passed over 9 years ago now. My mum, I feel, went too soon. My dad, it was his time. And, that whole circle of life thing, I think that really was his time to go. My dad served in the Navy, and he did all these cool things around the world. And in his dementia, he'd kind of regressed back to that. And some of it was a bit made up, we suspect. He was talking about things he'd never mentioned before. So either he was an incredible war hero, or maybe he wasn't. I like to think he was. He was my hero anyway. His life at that point had just regressed back to his experiences, his really powerful memories, and that was my reason for rethinking my life. Because up to that point, I've done very normal things. I found myself in a very abnormal situation with my ex, and so I'd lost a lot, and I was bouncing. My health was bouncing back, and I just thought, well, I really ought to do something that was outstanding and drastic. I had a plan. My plan was that I would use the small inheritance from the sale of the house to go travelling, and I figured there would be enough there, if I led a very minimal life, to go UK and Europe for maybe a year or two, longer if I was able to do casual work, which I expected I would need to. And of course, then I saw van life. I love driving, and I love driving a van, and my job was to drive a van, and I'd pick people up, we'd go driving around Kent, South East London and Essex, doing gardening. There's the social enterprise, which was awesome, and I love driving. I thought, yes, okay, I'm already spending most of my day in a van, so why not have my home as a van? I spend all day in a van, I just spend the evening in the van and sleep in the van. That seemed perfectly normal and perfectly acceptable. So that was my plan. I bought the van, started working on it, fitting it out, and I stayed at the house, my late father's house, caretaking, until the time was such that it went on the market and was sold because of all the red tape and everything. Unfortunately, there is no inheritance from the house. There may be, but it's so caught up in red tape that I'm not counting on it anymore. That and my redundancy and having run out of money to finish the van, that was the rug being pulled out from under me, and I've had to rethink since April. I've had to completely rethink my plans. As long as I get a job, I can do van life without that money. I'm not counting on that money. If that money does arrive, I'm going to do something different with it. I'm going to put it somewhere safe, and that will be for something else, and I don't know what yet. And I figure if I can continue doing van life, I'll live in Yorkshire and have a full-time job. I think I can start putting away money for something else. And I'm making up these plans as I go. Everything is very fluid, and I suppose living in a van, it can be fluid, which is great, isn't it? So my future is kind of a road with many lanes, and I don't know. They're all kind of in the same general direction. Me in a van, and I've got a million options in front of me. And as time moves on, I'm kind of maybe narrowing them down, but it's all very fluid. And it is just me in the van. There's not going to be a Mrs. Mevy in the van with me. I have my nearest and dearest up here, and that's who my life revolves around. So that's the end of episode 67. Maybe that'll fill in some more blanks. There's still a big chunk of stuff that I'm not going to talk about, but I think maybe you'll get a flavour of it, of what happened, and that's as much as I'm going to say. All right.